What up, real ones? In today's show, we're going to break down the latest Evan Fournier trade rumors. But before we get started, I just want to ask you guys this question. Should the Knicks trade Evan Fournier? Type T for trade or type K for keep? You are watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green, as always. In today's show, we're going to go over the latest Evan Fournier trade rumors. As there was, Knicks fan side had talked about Evan Fournier being traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. We'll break down that trade package, and I'll get your guys' takes on if the Knicks should do the trade or not. But the first thing that when I saw the Fournier trade rumors was, I just don't know if there is a role currently on the Knicks for Evan Fournier. I mean, just the way the direction is going, the way the team is built right now, do you really want a 30-year-old shooting guard that gives you nothing on the defensive end on this team taking away minutes from a guy like Cam Reddish or Quentin Grimes when he comes back? I mean, Fournier hasn't been bad this year so far. I mean, he's putting up the numbers that he always does. 12 points per game, shooting about 43% from the field, 40+% from downtown, 25 minutes per game in 6 games. It's just, on this team, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Because when you look at the starting five, I mean, Evan Fournier is a valuable player, no doubt about it, just not on this team the way they're constructed. Because at point guard, you got Jalen Brunson. I love Jalen Brunson, probably the biggest Jalen Brunson fan in the world, but I can even say he's an average to a below average point guard defender. Evan Fournier is terrible at defense. RJ Barrett is okay at defense. And when you have Brunson, Fournier, and Barrett all on the court at the same time, you're putting so much responsibility and so much defensive of a workload, so much a defensive workload on the plate of RJ Barrett, because now you're asking him every single night to be efficient on offense, something we know that RJ Barrett is not, something that he's been good at so far, especially to start the seasons. We know he starts seasons slow at this point. But when you have Fournier and Brunson, you're asking Barrett to guard the number one perimeter threat on every opposing team every single night. That's my biggest gripe with Evan Fournier. I know he can hit open shots. I know he can create a little bit, but it's the lack of defense that's honestly hurting RJ Barrett and his development. This is what an anonymous NBA executive said to Heavy.com. They said, I don't think there is any question the Knicks would be willing to move Evan Fournier. You know what Evan is at this point? If you're a contender and you need a veteran to score off your bench, he is going to be someone that you look at. But the Knicks are probably just doing it for the salary cap relief and not going to get something back for significance for Evan Fournier. So speaking of the contract, this is what it looks like. He's getting paid $18 million this year, $18.8 million in 2023. And the Knicks have a team option that I can confidently say right now, if he remains on the Knicks end of 2024, the Knicks will decline that. So he's pretty much on a 2-year deal right now. I like Fournier. I think he's a good shooter. I think he can carry the offense sometimes through stretches where they're not able to make shots. I mean, go back to the Boston Celtics games back last year. This guy would just white out, get white hot, black out from three, and just go unconscious and knock threes in. But it's a trade-off. Is that worth putting more pressure on RJ Barrett on the defensive end, which then in turn takes away from RJ Barrett's consistency and efficiency on the offensive end? At the end of the day, I think the Knicks need to look to move off of Evan Fournier. Maybe you wait until Quentin Grimes gets healthy so he can feel more confident. But I don't know when or that will be. I do know this, though. If the Knicks make a move involving Fournier, if they make any move with the rest of the roster, we're going to be breaking that down on this channel, youtube.com/KnicksTV. When the Knicks make a move, when news comes out, when rumors come out, we get you guys a video as soon as possible. We put out videos almost every single day on the latest Knicks news and rumors. We almost go live. We do watch parties pretty much for every single game as well. So if you like videos on demand, you like live coverage of this team, hit us up, hit that big red button. One-stop shop for the New York Knicks all season long. Hit that big red button. We also have a deal going on for you guys right now. Get your Knicks Now Real One t-shirt today. We started a kind of a Real One movement back in the summer because I like to know who the real ones are, the guys that watch the videos and the ladies that do not. I like to find that out. and Real One, it just kind of caught on to the channel. So you can get a Real One Knicks Now t-shirt. We got some merchandise here at the channel. Just go to chatsports.com/realknicks. I'll put that link in the comments and description of today's show. The trade idea from Knicks fan side of Knicks Daily was this. The Knicks receive Russell Westbrook, a 2027 first-round pick, and that's supposed to be a 2029 first-round pick. A typo on my part. Lakers receive Evan Fournier, Cam Reddish, and Derrick Rose. So the Knicks, they would be getting 2 first-round picks. They would buy out Russell Westbrook in this situation. He wouldn't come off the bench or be on this team anymore. So you're getting 2 first-round picks for Fournier, Cam Reddish, and Derrick Rose. Let's break this trade down a little bit more. Derrick Rose hasn't been playing too much for the New York Knicks so far this season. He talked about it in a podcast on YouTube that he generally starts slow, playing just 13 minutes per game so far, 8.5 points per game. He's shooting the rock, though, really well, 53% from the field and 47% from downtown. I don't expect Derrick Rose to get heavy minutes for the New York Knicks early on, but if he stays on the Knicks later into the season, I expect his role to increase. Cam Reddish has had some games where he's popped, and he's also had some games where he has not popped. Go back to the first game of the season against the Memphis Grizzlies. He had that 20-piece. He's averaging 18 minutes per game so far this year, 8.2 points per game, 2.7 assists per game, 48% from the field, and 40% from downtown. My gripe kind of with that trade right now is if you do trade Cam Reddish and you don't have a healthy Quentin Grimes, you don't have any young wings on this team, and for that reason alone, I probably would decline that trade, or I wouldn't make that trade until Quentin Grimes got healthy. I like Cam Reddish. I think he has all the talent in the world to be an elite player, honestly, in this league. I think where he can excel, and he has started to do so far this year, is in the open court, in the fast break. That long, slow Euro, kind of like Luka or Giannis does. We've seen Cam Reddish show that off in transition so far this year. He's been a great finisher around the rim. He's probably the guy I wouldn't want to trade. I love Derrick Rose as well, but am I passing up on 2 first-round picks and salary cap relief and an Evan Fournier trade to hold on to Derrick Rose? Probably not, to be honest with you, even though I love my guy Derrick Rose, and I think he can still contribute to this basketball team. So I'll ask you guys this question. Would you make this trade? Westbrook, a 2027 first-round pick, a 2029 first-round pick, and you got to give up Evan Fournier, Cam Reddish, and Derrick Rose. Type A for accept, type D for decline. I want to hear from all the real ones down in the comment section right now. Kind of said it a second ago, but I think it's really important to note that with Quentin Grimes being hurt with that foot injury, I can't trade Cam Reddish, because if you move off of Evan Fournier, who's going to be your starting wing? It's got to be Cam Reddish, and if you're going to trade him, I don't know who's it going to be. Maybe you move Manuel quickly into the 2 spot, but then you're still not really assessing the problem and the reason for trading Fournier, which is to improve your perimeter defense. I like Fournier, but I can't see him watch him close any more games this season, because in the fourth quarter, he just gets hunted every single time by the elite perimeter players on the offensive end of other teams. I think it is important to note, though, that you're not going to be getting a player of value back in a trade for Evan Fournier. If you do move off of Fournier, it's going to be like the trade we just saw, salary cap relief, to where you can get off of his contract where he's owed 18, then 18.8, then $19 million over the next 3 years. If you do trade Fournier, you're not going to get back a player that's going to make this team better right now. You're probably going to get a future pick and some salary cap relief. Look, this Knicks roster, a lot of people have been calling it mid on Twitter. I wouldn't call it mid, but they're not an elite roster by any means. I love Jalen Brunson. I love R.J. Barrett. Julius Randle has played solid this year, kind of slipped up and hasn't played that great the past couple of games, but we're deep. And at some point, you got to consolidate your assets. That's a term that I use a lot on this channel, but at some point you do. If you had a starting 5 of Brunson, and I've kind of warmed up to this a little bit more with Grimes hurt, I'd like to see the Knicks start Brunson, Barrett at the 2, Reddish at the 3, so Reddish can be your number 1 defender on the perimeter, and he turns into the guy that's pushing the break in the fast break and having to get a bucket every once in a while. I like this Knicks team. They're flawed, no doubt about it, but they definitely have an opportunity to compete in the Eastern Conference. I think trading Evan Fournier is kind of like addition by subtraction. You get more minutes for Quickly. You get more minutes for Grimes. You get more minutes for Reddish and Toppin. And you become a better perimeter team on the defensive end. I think it's a win-win situation for New York. Look, we've played 6 games so far this year. The Knicks are 3-3. So I want to ask you guys this question because this was the over-under win total for Las Vegas for the New York Knicks for the 2022 season. 38.5 wins for the Knicks. We're 3-3 so far. Got a tough stretch of games coming up. A lot of games coming up against teams that were playoff teams last year. 38.5 wins. Type O for over or U for under. I also want to say thank you, and I appreciate everyone, as always, that made New York Knicks Now a part of their day today. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and type real one down in the comments section.